Steinhouse, and welcome to Money Chat Now. Money Chat Now is a politically charged stock market pre-show giving you the politics of the day and the biggest moves in the stock market. It is presented with comedic common sense and just the right amount of sarcasm by an expert in financial literacy. And hey, that's me, Larry Steinhouse. Today is Monday, July 18th. I want to welcome you to the show. We are here live on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia, and we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Hey, by the way, if you'd like to connect with me and you want to find out where you can reach me or what social media sites I'm on, you can go to contactlarry.com. That's contactlarry.com, and you can find all of my social media contacts there. In fact, you can even make an appointment with me if you'd like, and I can review some of your finances. That's contactlarry.com. Hey, just a reminder, if you're watching online, hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and like the Money Chat Now page on Facebook. And of course, you can comment live during the show on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And please say hi so I know you're watching. A bunch of people saying hi already. Hey, we've got Lou, and it looks like Deb, and Moshe, and James, and Larry, and also Mark Cumberland. By the way, Mark owns a real estate school in Philadelphia, and if you wanted to take real estate classes and learn how to take real estate classes, actually you can go to philadelphiarealestateclasses.com, and you can take classes there. It's actually pretty good. I send all my people there. All right, also, if you're commenting from a group and it's not the Money Chat Now fan page, your name will not show up on my dashboard. Please go to the Money Chat Now page and comment there so I can recognize you. Money Chat Now is brought to you by Investor Schooling. Hey, you can attend a class this Thursday by going to investorschooling.com, and there you will learn about real estate investing and stock options trading from those who do it every day. And you'll learn about so many things about money that you just didn't know even existed. So definitely show up this Thursday. All right, on today's show, we're going to be talking about the recap and the update, of course. We're going to be talking about airfares reducing. We're going to be talking about Bank of America botching unemployment payments and the Boeing Dreamliner. It seems like it's a pretty airfare day. Let's talk about what happened on Friday. Hey, it was a really nice finish to the week on Friday when the Dow closed up 658 points. The S&P was also up about 73 points, and the NASDAQ was up over 200 points. So what made it possible? It was the sole earnings report of Citi that made it happen. That's right, Citigroup, the only bank with positive earnings, gave a glimmer of hope to the market when it beat earnings estimates. The earnings per share were $2.19, topping the consensus estimate of $1.67. That's a pretty big increase. That was also an increase from the previous quarter. And think about that. But the only thing I have to say, though, is it's a solemn reminder, however, that it's still down from a year ago. So the great report of Citi gave hope to the market, even though Wells Fargo also reported, but they missed their earnings. However, Wells also reported a good guidance because of raising interest rates. So Wells Fargo is saying that banks are going to be doing really well because of raising interest rates. Interesting statement. I don't know. I find that kind of like go either way. It could be good because they're raising interest rates and they make more money, but it could be bad for raising interest rates because they have less customers. So it's possible. Citigroup jumped 14% and Wells popped about 6%. These both brought the market up Friday. Netflix was also up on the good report of the banks. The investors are beginning to believe that this earnings season might be a little better than expected. All of the upcoming earnings companies seem to rise along with Meta and also Apple. And Apple actually topped 150, and even Twitter moved up. This week is going to be a big week for earnings. Today we have another big bank, Bank of America, reporting this morning. IBM will report after the bell today as well. Tomorrow will be Johnson & Johnson and Hasbro. And of course, Netflix reports after the bell tomorrow as well. Netflix is going to be another key earnings report. I actually think they're going to do really well. Tesla is on Wednesday after the bell, and also United Airlines. Thursday we have Snap, and then next week we have the highlights of the tech world with Meta, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Twitter. It should be an interesting earnings season for sure. I actually think they're all going to do well this earnings season. The stocks have been beaten up too much for not to do well. I have my money on Meta and Twitter, actually. Twitter is a favorite because of the fun Musk is having with basically, the peasant investors as he manipulates the stock. Of course, today is the first day that Google will be trading after the 20-to-1 split. The stock is trading about 113 this morning, and it's going to go into earnings next week. I'm going to tell you that's going to be a really interesting play for sure. If it goes below 105, jump all over it. All right, let's see how the futures are doing right now. Right now, we've got the Dow is up really nice. It's up 322. The S&P is up 42, and the Nasdaq is up 172. That is fantastic. All right, real quick, a whole bunch of people have joined us that I haven't said hello to yet. It looks like we've got Lucy and Charles and Carrie and Michael and Tom and my brother Seth and Ken. Oh, Ken, happy birthday, Ken. Ken had a nice birthday yesterday. I also want to say my brother Seth, I was hanging out with him yesterday at my mother's house, and Seth is a big fan of the show. So everybody say hello to Seth. Seth's a big fan. Comment on his post, that whatever. And happy birthday once again, Ken. That's pretty awesome. All right, now let's get into what's going on here with airfares. Well, we certainly know that the scamdemic took its toll on the airline industry. For almost a year, flights were empty, and the next year, the idiot in charge of the country made everyone wear a mask to fly. Well, when all the nonsense ended, the floodgates to fly opened up again. This and higher fuel prices led to the airlines charging more for their services. We, of course, also had the normal spring and summer demand increases, and flights were packed. Well, now it's actually starting to settle. Now the question is, how resilient will demand be after the summer peak as carriers and travelers alike grapple with persistent inflation and worries about an economic slowdown? People and businesses are actually starting to go back to normal, whatever that means. So airline prices are seasonally adjusting to lower rates. Ticket prices often dip when the peak summer travel fades. Look, children return to school and families wrap up vacations. Though business travel also ramps back up, airlines also adjust capacity for lower demand periods so they aren't flooding the market with seats they would need to offer at low fares to fill. Look, so U.S. round-trip flights as of July 14th averaged about $375, which was down from a May peak of $413, but still up 13% from 2019, according to a report. The airline industry is once again becoming red hot as the airlines are reporting great results and upbeat guidance. One of the biggest problems the airline is having is staffing. Pilots and stewards are in big demand, at least for pilots, it isn't something you can become without some serious training. In fact, we just talked about Seth. His son just became a pilot, Sam. Congratulations, Sam. The ground crew is also harder to fill, and because of this, airlines have to cut back on flights, and flights have gotten canceled due to the lack of staff and to operate them. Consumer service, of course, is also an issue countrywide with everything nowadays, and the airline industry is certainly seeing this as a problem as well. You ever notice that when you call customer service now, you hear a dog barking in the background or a kid screaming because everybody's working from home? Delta stated that the carrier has hired 18,000 people since the start of 2021, which is around the number it lost during the scamdemic when it urged staff to retire. Southwest Airlines, for its part, said this week it hired 10,000 people. This week, it hired 10,000 people. Actually, no, it's hired 10,000 people since January. I'm sorry. It announced this week to bring its employee base to 61,000, which is more than they had during 2019. They're expecting big things. As we get closer to the expected recession, the airlines are bracing for less demand, but still higher fees. You remember when airlines like Frontier Airlines were offering flights for $39 to Florida during the years of 2008 to 2012? Like, I got to be honest, I don't think we're going to see that again, but I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing $99 flights in the next 2 years as airlines reset into the next stage of the economy. I have a couple of flights I need to book this week, and I'm sure they're going to be more than I'm used to paying, but I'm happy to pay it, at least this time. United Airlines will be posting their results this week as well, and that should be a good sign as to the direction of the airline industry. I'm expecting a good report along with good guidance, but obviously we're going to have to see how it plays out. Hey, listen, for those of you guys who watch this show online, tomorrow is Interview Tuesday, and I'm interviewing a young man who was fired from his job because he was a President Trump fan. This is wild. You got to watch this interview tomorrow, and you got to see what happened to this kid. It's certainly going to get your blood boiling. So make sure you tune in tomorrow and tell all your friends. All right, let's take a break here, and I'll see you guys in a minute.
Okay, so you thought about buying and selling real estate. You've thought about investing in the stock market, but don't know where to start. Well, what if you could find a place to unlock strategies to master both real estate and the stock market, all without the headache? That place is Investor Schooling, hosted by Larry Steinhouse, an expert in real estate, financial literacy, and the ins and outs of the stock market. You can attend Investor Schooling in person or online 8 times a month. You can and will learn how to make money in real estate, and you will learn mastery of stock techniques such as options and covered calls. You will even get a chance to ask one of your burning questions to the stock options sultan, the master of picks and plays. Call 866-424-2829 for free information and receive a complimentary pass to attend classes, or register online at investorschooling.com. Don't delay. These passes are limited. So what are you waiting for? Call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Or visit investorschooling.com. That's investorschooling.com.
All right, welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And of course, if you'd like more information on investor schooling, you can go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. Hey, I want to thank you all for listening on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia. And of course, if you're watching online, hit that share button. Come on, everybody. Hit that share button, share it on your page, share it in groups. Let your friends learn how to make more money and have some fun. Hit that like button. Let me know you enjoy the show. And of course, you can leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I'll try to respond to them. So if you're watching this show right now, just say hi if you haven't already said hi, so I know you're watching. All right, so far, of course, we have been discussing, of course, the futures. Let's take a quick look at the futures right now. And right now, it looks like the Dow is up 315, the S&P is up 40, and the NASDAQ is up almost 170. That's pretty good. We talked about airlines or airfares reducing their prices. Coming up, we got how Bank of America botched unemployment, and we have the Boeing Dreamliner. And then, of course, we have today's picks and plays. But did you guys hit that like button? Come on, everybody, hit that like button. There's my wife, Linda, saying hi and giving me a heart. Thank you so much. Did you hit the share button? Come on, everybody, hit that share button. And don't forget to leave comments on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. And if you're listening on WWDB Radio, be sure and set a preset to this station and listen every day at 7:30. And also look up Money Chat Now on Facebook when you get home and let me know what you think of the show. Hey, real quick, before we even talk about my book, I got something to tell you. I am going to be interviewed by Dom Giordano today on 1210 Radio, 1210 AM radio at 1 o'clock. So make sure you listen to that. It's going to be an interesting interview. I'm actually going to be defending Doug Mastriano. All right, let's take a look at my book. Hey, did you guys order my book yet? Here you go. You can order it now, and actually it's ready to deliver. That's right, it's ready to go. You don't even need to pre-order anymore. You can order it now, and you'll get it this week. You can also go wherever fine books are sold, order it there. Money Hacks by Larry Steinhouse, and I promise you're going to learn something even after you finish the first chapter. All right, let's get into the second half. Let's talk about unemployment and Bank of America. Look, as we get into earnings season, we will always see that some kind of disparaging article about companies just as they're about to report earnings. Sometimes the articles are rehashing of old articles, and sometimes the articles are news just held in waiting to be released right about a week before earnings to lower the price of the stock so the money managers could pick it up cheap. I've seen it so many times. Look, I actually think I'm becoming a stock market conspiracy theorist or something. Well, here's a story about Bank of America that just so happened to come out last week right before earnings. So let's get into it. If you've been on unemployment in the past decade or so, you probably have received your unemployment funds in the form of a debit card. I seriously think this is the dumbest idea for anyone to receive funds, but oh boy, it's really, really good for the bank issuing the funds that comes from the state unemployment fund, but not so good for you. The bank, of course, gets fees on some of the purchases as well as ATM withdrawal fees. The bank also gets to have the funds sitting in their bank, making what's called a sweep interest as they buy and sell bonds overnight with the funds. Also, the banks love the idea of, being chosen by the various state governments to issue these cards. For the consumer, it couldn't be a dumber way to get your funds. Besides the possible bank fees, you could lose the card or the card could be electronically stolen and you could find your card wiped clean with no funds to access. These cards are not chip cards when they're issued, so they're easily cloned by nefarious card readers. Because of the likelihood of these cards being stolen, Bank of America, who had contracts with 12 of the most active states like California, were issuing these cards. It had some fraud detection programs and software trying to prevent fraud. Well, instead of preventing fraud, many of the unemployment beneficiaries during the scamdemic found their card funds frozen because of the faulty fraud detection system would shut down their cards and their access to their funds. So not only were these people out of work by faulty government, Their funds were frozen by a faulty bank system. There were people who could not access their money. Being, being the time of the great scamdemic, there were no bank branches open and customer service teams were either working from home or not working at all. This led to honest citizens with the unemployment fund cards not being able to access these funds. Some stories include people who were buying groceries and found their card did not work and they had to leave without their groceries. Other stories have people stuck without being able to buy gas. So now federal regulators fined Bank of America $225 million for botching the disbursement of state unemployment benefits at the height of the pandemic. The bank actually responded with this statement. The states were responsible for reviewing and approving applications and directing Bank of America to issue payments. As such, Bank of America said it helped the government to successfully issue more than $250 billion, $250 billion in pandemic unemployment benefits to more than 14 million people and overall distributed the more pandemic relief than any other bank to Americans. This action, obviously the action of the fines is what they're talking about, arose despite the government's own acknowledgement that unemployment expansion during the pandemic created unprecedented criminal activity where illegal applicants were able to get states to approve tens of billions of dollars in payments. Bank of America said, adding to that, it partnered with our state clients to identify and fight fraud throughout the pandemic. Well, the bank will probably just pay the fine and be over with. But I wonder if the people who have put out and had these problems will see any of that fine money as restitution. Or does the government just use the victims as a way to extort money from the bank? Yeah, probably. I'd bet in the future the cards will have chips in them. By the way, I'm a firm believer in never having a debit card. Never have a debit card. Debit cards are made to make the bank money and not for your convenience. I go into some depth about this in investor schooling, but it's my suggestion to play everything with credit cards, not debit cards. If your credit card gets coned or stolen, it wasn't your money that the bad guys took. It was the bank's money and you aren't responsible for it. If your debit card gets stolen, even the bank replaces the money. But even if the bank replaces the money, it could take up to 30 days before you can get it. And that's just one of the reasons to use credit cards and not debit cards. Take a good look at that. All right, let's get into Boeing's Dreamliner, and let's talk about what's happening here. Hey, did you know that Boeing has been working on a new plane for 13 years? Yep, this plane, named the Dreamliner. By the way, 13 years, that just sounds funny, that's 13 years. The unlucky number. Well, actually, it's my wife's lucky number. Anyway, this plane, named the Dreamliner, is the 787 that has been anxiously awaited by airlines and even passengers since its inception since about 2009. The design has so many flaws, including electrical problems that cause fires. By the way, nothing like a fire when you're trapped in a tin can a mile over the sky. Oh boy. The plane has been grounded and has been having redesigned since 2013. The plane has also been riddled with problems, and even the redesign, the plane was still grounded. The latest failure, check this out, the latest failure was in March when the FAA found unacceptable gaps in panels in the fuselage. Really? Unacceptable gaps? What the heck? Did someone try to save money by using 1 millimeter smaller panels? Or did the engineers calculate the size of the panels incorrectly? I don't even understand this one. Such a simple but disastrous problem. If you recall, by the way, the 737, not the 787, but the 737 MAX plane had two unexplainable crashes when apparently the computer systems failed on the aircraft. These planes were also grounded as Boeing redesigned the computer systems to prevent crashes in the future. Many are afraid to fly the 737 MAX plane because of the mystery crashes. Several airlines, including American Airlines, have orders for the 787 Dreamliner, and it has turned into a complete nightmare. The plane, which can transport 280 passengers, would be a big help of the problem of not enough pilots and staff. These planes were supposed to be delivered this summer, and they're still in the hangars of Boeing, waiting to be repaired and approved by the FAA. Well, it appears that Boeing is one step closer to having these planes being delivered. Because of the problems with the plane, the FAA will actually be signing off on each plane individually as they are delivered. That, of course, means more cost to the manufacturer. However, I'm sure that Boeing really just wants this plane in the air and out of their hangars. Boeing stock has been moving up greatly on the news, and they also had some other good news today that I believe it was United ordered a bunch of planes from them. But I have a question for you. Would you fly on a 787? I don't know, man. The thought of it scares me, but then again, I never really paid attention to the type of plane I was on anyway. This, of course, and then, of course, there's the fact that the plane must work if it got to the airport in the first place to come pick me up, so it may be all right. I'm going to suggest you watch Boeing stock. I predict it's going to be back in the 200s before the end of the year, and it might be a good play as new orders get written and this plane finally gets launched. Hey, real quick, let's take a break, and when I come back, we're going to talk about some of the plays and picks and plays of the day. See you guys in a minute. Hi, I'm Larry Steinhouse, and I've written a book called Money Hacks. The subtitle to this book is because everything you think you know about money is wrong, and I promise you there are things you think about money that are wrong. There are chapters in this book that I think you will find absolutely fascinating, and some of them are, what is money anyway? Can money buy happiness? I'll bet you don't know the answer to that question. The truth about credit scores, how you can actually use credit cards to rebuild your credit. I also have chapters on being your own bank, how to buy houses with an IRA, and how to invest with other people's money. There are so many other chapters. There are 22 total chapters in this book, and I promise you're going to learn how to make more money and pay less taxes when you buy this book. My name is Larry Steinhouse. The name of the book is Money Hacks. You can get this book wherever fine books are sold, and you can go to barnesandnoble.com right now and pre-order it. I hope that you will enjoy it. Welcome back to Money Chat Now. I'm your host, Larry Steinhouse. And by the way, that book is no longer pre-order. It is now. You will now get it now. So if you want to order it now. Hey, I also want to remind you that this show is now open to sponsorship. I've sold hundreds of books to people who listen and watch this show every day, and we have raving fans. So if you want to, you could actually become a sponsor for this show. If you'd like to advertise your product on the show, please reach out to let me know. Of course, you can reach out by reaching me at contactlarry.com. That's contactlarry.com. Hey, by the way, I also want to remind you guys who watch this show online, tomorrow is Interview Tuesday, and I'm interviewing a young man who was fired from his job because he was a President Trump fan. You definitely want to watch this interview tomorrow. It will certainly get your blood boiling. So make sure you tune in tomorrow and tell all your friends to watch it as well, because it's going to be really interesting. All right, let's get back to the futures right now. Let's take a quick look at the futures. The Dow is up 333 points. The S&P is up 42. And the NASDAQ is up 177. It might be a good day. Hey, so far we talked about the fact that that airlines are reducing their prices. We talked about Bank of America botching unemployment. And other people says, yeah, Seth says Bank of America is always in trouble. Actually, all the banks are always in trouble. We also talked about the Boeing Dreamliner, and Mike says he would not fly it. Yeah, you know what's going to happen, Mike? You're going to book your flight, you're going to get on it, and you're going to pull out that little card that says what airplane you're on, and you're like, oh, no. All right, coming up, we have today's picks and plays. But first, did you guys hit that like button? Did you guys hit that share button? Come on, Mike, hit that share button. Linda, Jose, Ken, Seth, hit that share button, hit that like button. Tell all your friends about this show as well. Let them know it's both entertaining and educational. Please share it on your page or on groups that you feel may also enjoy the show. Have them like the Money Chat Now fan page so you can get notified of the show every morning. Boy, I'm giving you guys so many instructions. Follow them. All right, you can also leave comments on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Also, tag some of your friends in the comments. That way you can say, hey, you know, Bank of America, always in trouble, Seth? Tag somebody in that comment. Hey, if you're listening on WWDB Radio, set one of your presets to this channel and listen every day at 7:30 for all you need to know about the politics behind the stock market and for some great entertainment as well. All right. Mike says LGB. All right, he knows what gets me moving. All right, as I said, we're in earnings season, and the market is responding as it usually does during this time. Friday 640-point pop clearly shows that so far and by the way, so far the future is also looking good as well. So it also shows that that's starting to happen. Bank of America earnings will be out very shortly. I have to take a look, and if the earnings are good, boom, the market will take off. If not, the market will probably just pause and not necessarily go negative, by the way. When the market gets momentum, which it appears to have, the money managers get excited, and that makes the market go up, up, up. And as I said before, the market is all about emotion. That's why you need to tune into the emotion of the market. By the way, the easiest way to tuning into the emotion of the market is following the market and watching or listening to this show. My plays are all, by the way, my current plays are all earnings plays, and whatever's about to report is the play. Meta, United Airlines, Apple, IBM, all great options plays. But be cautious and don't bet the farm. All right, let's take a final look at the futures and see what's going on right now. We got the Dow is up 325 points, the S&P is up 40, and the NASDAQ is up almost 170. Not bad at all. Crypto had a nice bounce this weekend. It's up over 22,000. That could be a bullish sign for the cryptocurrency, so keep that in mind. I see a breakout there. It's possible we might hit that 28 that I had predicted earlier, and then I finally said it may not happen again, but that was my top. Ethereum had a also big bounce and is now almost 1,500. It could be the beginning of a new rally, so definitely pay attention to that. It could be a good move, Oh, yeah. I got to laugh. Michael says the market went up 600 points because Biden is out of the country. That's really funny. All right, gold and silver are still disappointing me, with gold about 17.20 and silver about 19. Yuck. So the Treasury bonds are still hovering below 3%. And not moving much. We know that the Fed is about to raise interest rates again, so that's going to change again. But at the same time, I don't know, it seems like the market is okay with the interest rates raising. If they raise it 3/4 of a point, nothing more, I would imagine that the market will do well. If they raise it more, the market's going to fall back. Oil is back to about $100 a barrel, and the average gas price moved down to $4.52 a gallon. Maybe that's because Biden's out of the country too. Hey, I want to thank all the listeners on WWDB Radio 860 AM in Philadelphia. I want to thank you for your continued support. And if you're enjoying the show, please reach out and let us know. My name is Larry Steinhouse. I am the host of Money Chat Now, and I am the CEO of Investor Schooling. Hey, remember, you can contact me directly at contactlarry.com. That's contactlarry.com. You have to type that into the URL bar. There will be no search on that. So type in contactlarry.com. Don't forget, from time to time, I own some of the assets and options discussed in this show, and the opinions discussed in this show are solely mine, and no one has asked me to discuss them. Don't forget, tomorrow is Interview Tuesday, and you're going to like that interview with young Daniel, who was fired for being a Trump fan. All right, everybody, make it a profitable day.